Forensics in the Louvre by Richard Jonathan O. Taduran, Ph.D. At 9:30 a.m. on a bright Sunday morning, 19th October 2025, four men pulled off what French newspapers now call the heist of the decade. In just 7 minutes, they breached a second-floor window of the Louvre Museum's glittering Galerie d'Apollon, smashed glass display cases, and vanished down the quays of the Seine on scooters, carrying with them 8 pieces of France's crown jewels. They had arrived in a truck fitted with a mechanical lift, the kind used to hoist furniture into Parisian apartments. With an angle grinder and blowtorch, they cut through reinforced glass, set off alarms, and still managed to escape before police could respond. Among the stolen treasures were a sapphire tiara and necklace once worn by Queen Marie Amélie, an emerald set belonging to Empress Marie-Louise, and a diamond-studded bow brooch of Empress Eugénie, wife of Napoleon III. A 9th piece, the Empress's crown, was dropped and later recovered, slightly damaged, near the museum gates. The Louvre has seen only one other theft of comparable audacity, the 1911 disappearance of the Mona Lisa. That painting was recovered 2 years later, but this recent robbery, executed in daylight in one of the world's most secure museums, has rekindled global fascination with criminal daring. It is a reminder that even in an age of lasers and surveillance, some crimes still succeed. The complicated search. As of this writing, the museum remains closed. French forensic technicians in PPES move carefully through its gilded halls, collecting fingerprints, fibers, tool marks, and trace residues. Their challenge is immense. The Louvre is not a sterile crime scene, but a historic palace visited daily by thousands of tourists. Every banister, floor tile, and glass panel carries 1,000 overlapping human signatures. The principles of forensic search remain constant, systematic, thorough, and minimally contaminative, but their application here borders on choreography. Investigators must adapt standard spiral, grid, or zone searches to the delicate geometry of an 18th century gallery where even a misplaced boot print could damage parquet flooring older than the French Republic itself. Every recovered item, a dropped glove, a fragment of visor plastic, the angle grinder blade left behind, becomes a potential narrative clue. The grinder's wear pattern may reveal torque and brand. Soot marks around the window could indicate the order of entry. CCTV footage reconstructs the crew's minute-by-minute movements, while probable DNA or skin cell residue on the damaged crown may narrow suspects. Yet the museum's accessibility complicates the investigation. Public spaces produce background noise in forensic data, random fingerprints, tourist DNA, fibers from thousands of coats and scarves, even the microscopic debris of restoration work. Air filtration systems disperse trace particles. Routine cleaning removes microevidence before it can ever be swabbed. In such environments, the line between contamination and clue blurs. Heritage forensics demands restraint. The science must protect culture even as it pursues crime. Forensics as historical science. Forensic science is, at its core, a historical science. It reconstructs past events from the traces they leave behind, building narratives from evidence much like archaeology or geology. In the Louvre, this mission becomes doubly significant. Investigators must preserve not only the immediate past of the crime, but also the ancient past embedded in the museum's artifacts and architecture. Processing a museum crime scene is unlike any other. Laboratories deal in control. Galleries exist in carefully curated chaos. The Galerie d'Apollon is a micro-environment engineered to preserve fragile materials, paintings, metals, gemstones, and textiles, under tightly regulated temperature, humidity, and light levels. Those same preservation systems make forensic work both delicate and treacherous. Temperature affects how long DNA persists on smooth surfaces. The cool, dry air that protects jewels can also slow biological decay, extending the life of evidence. but even a small rise in humidity from investigators' breath or equipment can fog gilt frames or crystal glass. Ultraviolet lighting, often used to detect latent residues, risks photochemical damage to centuries-old varnish. Vacuum sampling must use museum-grade filters to avoid suction damage to gold leaf or microcracking of display glass. Even sound has consequences. The thieves' power tools scattered microscopic metal dust that may have lodged in the HVAC system. Forensic teams can analyze these filters for trace evidence, but must coordinate with conservation engineers to prevent contamination of the entire climate network. Something as ordinary as fingerprint powder can stain marble or oxidize mounts, so French investigators could favor electrostatic lifts and digital imaging over traditional dusting. Here, the Louvre becomes a paradox, a crime scene that is also a cultural organism. Investigators must reconstruct an act of violation without inflicting a deeper injury on history. Each sweep of a UV wand or collection swab is weighed against the cost of disturbing an artifact that has outlived centuries of change. In the effort to restore what was stolen, forensic work must avoid destroying traces of the past. The fate of the jewels. Experts warn that the clock is ticking. In heists like this, the first 48 hours often decide recovery. By now, the stolen pieces may already have been dismantled, gemstones recut, metals melted, hallmarks obliterated. Once broken down, royal jewels become anonymous commodities, untraceable fragments of history. Investigators most likely weigh three possibilities. The jewels may be broken apart for profit, ransomed through insurance channels, or kept intact for a private collector who commissioned the theft as trophies of prestige. Whatever the truth, this case reveals how forensic science and cultural heritage inevitably converge. To reconstruct what happened is not only to catch criminals, but to defend a nation's memory. In the Louvre, the work of forensics becomes more than investigation. It is an act of preservation, protecting two intertwined pasts, the recent and the distant.